Now, when you want to collect the data, you must have idea about the y variable as well as x variable, right? Because x is disturbing your y, right? You must collect information about both x and y. Is your measurement system capable and is your measurement system adequate? You are learning white belt. Do you think the content is adequate for you? You are taking breakfast. Is that 4 idlis are adequate for you? Yes or no? When I give you only 1 idli, is it adequate? But 4 idlis, it's adequate. And now 4 idlis is adequate. Do you want all the 4 idlis to be tastier also? And healthier also? Both are important. Same way, when you use a measurement system, there are 2 things. One is adequacy. The measurement system should help you to measure the entire range of measurement. What is entire range of measurement? Your product feature will vary from a lower value to a higher value. Am I right? Suppose if it is dimension may vary from 10 mm to 100 mm. Now you have one vernier. Is that same vernier can help you to measure 10 mm also, 100 mm also? That is called adequacy. When the system is not adequate, then you must divide your range into categories, then use an appropriate measuring gauge for each category. All of you are with me on this? Adequacy. Another thing is capability. What do I mean by capability? Whenever I collect the data using my measurement system, it should collect the data with the minimum of error. If the error is more than 10%, the data is unworthy. When you are solving a problem, you must see the problem and solve. Can you solve a problem without seeing it? You can't. But how do you see a problem? Only through the data. Only through the data. So if your data comes with error, you can't see the problem clearly. That is why we are talking about error, and error should be less than 10%. If it is more than 10%, you have to correct your measurement system. What are these questions? Toll gate review questions.
Sir,
when you say
one second. Adequacy means that you mean to say some description. Actually, I'm sorry, it's not very clear to me. What I understood from the capability is that our measurement error should be less than 10%. What I understood, but adequacy, can you further explore, sir?
Adequacy, no. When I use a particular gauge to collect the data within a range of see, I know my working range. I will use my ammeter to measure the current from 10 ampere to 20 ampere. Now I am having only one ammeter. Within 10 ampere and 20 ampere, how many readings are possible?
Depend on the resolution of that ampere.
If the resolution is 2 ampere, then how many readings are possible between 10 and 20 ampere?
5 only.
Only 5. This is called adequacy, right? And that number, the number of possible readings, if it is more, then adequacy increases. Generally, the number of possible readings should be minimum 5. If that is not happening, you must consider using an equipment with a better resolution. Now it is clear?
Yeah, clear. Precision to tolerance, that is same thing.
Come again?
Precision to tolerance.
Precision to tolerance talks about capability.
Okay.
But adequacy is greatly impacted by the precision.
Okay, precision only. Discrimination of the
no, sorry, not precision, resolution. I should use the word
resolution. Right? Okay.
If the resolution is better, then adequacy will be better. And
okay, got that, sir. Okay.
And do you have an appropriate data collection plan? Who will collect the data? Where from he will collect the data? When should he collect the data? How much data he should collect? All the guidelines you have to give. That is called operational definition. When your check sheet talks clearly, that is called a check sheet. If your check sheet doesn't talk clearly, that is not a check sheet at all. Many people take the check sheet very lightly. Any format they think it is a check sheet. No. Check sheet should guide your team to collect the data without error, right? And that is called data collection plan. Is the data collected appropriate? We consider the data collected as appropriate if the precision tolerance ratio is less than 10%. This precision tolerance ratio is otherwise called gauge R&R. R&R means repeatability and reproducibility error. We'll talk about it. Amit, please mute yourself. And also, no, the topic what we are discussing is not that easy. You have to be fully focused. And how far is your project goal from current performance? You will be able to answer this question only after collecting data. If you say, I want to reduce the weight, I want to reduce the weight, you will keep on saying and you will never reduce. But when you measure the data, you understand where do you stand. Only after collecting the data, I understand my weight is 84. Right? So the baseline performance, you understand only after the measure phase. The main deliverable of measure phase is baseline performance, but measure it correctly. And now to understand the importance of correctly measuring, I'll be playing a clip. Hope all of you like the cricket, right? So let me play a clip and you need to find out what is the measurement error here and who is committing the measurement error.
Has he been caught in front? An appeal, a big appeal from... Got convinced once. Or conned once into going for it by... No, he's gone for it as well.
Just from the top ribbing of the... This is the height factor. It's the height factor. It's got to hit the stumps.
Can see that one stump when he is shuffling in, was walked in.
Pitching a line and hitting. Yep. KRS specialist, Mahendra Singh Dhoni. And finally, CSK break.
And now tell me what is wrong here in this video. What went wrong? Who went wrong?
Umpire decision.
Umpire decision. Actually, the batsman was out, leg before wicket, but the umpire said not out. So what he committed is a measurement error. You know, Dhoni reversed it. Dhoni corrected it. And that helped Dhoni to win the match. If Dhoni did not correct these kind of mistake, do you think Dhoni can easily win the match? Definitely no, isn't it? Then he has to struggle a lot. Same way, if you also fail to correct the measurement error which your team will commit, you will also struggle to produce the result. Better correct the measurement system when your team is collecting the data, right? So that this video helped us to understand the importance of correcting the measurement error, right? And one more a specific snap of the video. And I'm showing the stumps as well as I'm showing the path of the ball. White color as well as blue color. Can you tell me what is the difference between the white color line and the blue color line?
White color is actual line. After that, it is estimated. Beautiful. Or something imaginary.
Beautiful. White color is the actual path followed by the ball, and blue color is the predicted path of the ball. Similar, see, when you know the white color line, drawing the blue color line is easier, am I right?
Yes.
You extend the white color line and that will be the blue color line. But how do you draw the white color line? Only if you actually know the path of the ball, you can draw the white color line. You know, in cricket, they keep a lot of cameras. And that camera will capture every information about the movement of the ball, the speed, the point where it pitched, and how much height it bounced. Every instant, the position of the ball is captured. and now they are able to draw the white color line. Since they have drawn the white color line, they extend it, which is a blue color line. Same way, if the actual performance is known, you can predict the future performance. Clear? If the actual performance, actual motion of the ball helps you to predict the further motion of the ball. Same way, if you know the actual performance of your company, you can predict the future performance. This analysis is called regression analysis. Simple. Regression is nothing but drawing a line. Drawing a line. Line can be a straight line. Line can be a curved line. Every line has got an equation, right? Every line has got an equation. All of us have studied. Only thing is we don't use it in the business. And hereafter we are going to use it. Well, straight line means y equal to mx plus c. Straight line means y equal to mx plus c. If it's a curved line, y equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. Or it can be ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d. But don't worry about all the mathematical equation. The softwares will give you. But you got to know the basics. And now coming to the ball, the cricket ball. Tell me, is it a straight line or a curved line?
Curved line.
Curved line.
Curved.
So y equal to mx plus c cannot be used now. Whenever it is a perfect straight line, then only your equation is a first degree equation. The power of the x will be only 1. One, your equation is straight line. When your equation is not straight, it is curved, then power should be more than 1. Your equation should necessarily have x square. Right? If it is a parabola, then it is x squared. If it is going up, coming down, again going up, then it is x cubed. This knowledge will help you to draw the blue color line. Clear? But don't worry, all these things you will learn beautifully. And once the prediction line is drawn, the umpire has took the decision. Same way, once the prediction line is in your hand, solution will automatically evolve. Solution will automatically evolve. So measure phase tools. In order to do all this job very well, we are going to equip you with appropriate tools.
In this case, sir, in this example,
Yes.
I have one query that sometimes it may happen that like the example of umpire,
Yes.
he is having some limitations also, no?
Yeah, right. He is having the limitation. Or same way, that limitation is only become the source of the error.
Right.
He can have the limitation. That limitation should be only 10%, not more.
Okay.
For example, I am the trainer now. There can be some other trainer, and then each one will have a limitation. My limitation is all of you should be on video. Then only I will be motivated to speak. But there could be someone who can talk to the screen very well, but I don't know what will be the impact, isn't it? As long as that limitation doesn't affect your learning, then it is okay. Am I right?
Right.
Same way, the umpire has got a limitation, but the error should be limited to 10%. See, they are not going for the DRS for each and everything.
Right.
Some amount is okay, but it should not affect the decision. Right. And now the tools are like operational definition. Operational definition is giving clear instruction. For example, I am explaining you the concept. Are you able to understand each and everything?
Yes, sir.
That means your operational definition is working. When I talk something, but you struggle to understand, do you think learning will happen? Learning will not happen. Same way, when you want your people to collect the data, you are passing instruction, but people are struggling to collect the data correctly. Now, what is the problem? Operational definition is not good. You are confusing them. If you confuse them, they will collect data with the error. So operational definition is a tool which will bring clarity in what needs to be measured. A simple, clear, concise statement. If your people understand only Hindi, then your statement should be in Hindi. Isn't it? There is no point simply complicating your team and making them collect the data with error. Don't do that. So operational definition is clear, concise definition of what needs to be measured. Gauge R&R, which simply means gauge repeatability and gauge reproducibility error, otherwise called precision tolerance ratio. You already know about tolerance, right? How many tolerance are there? Customer tolerance,
Process tolerance.
process tolerance.
Hmm.
So denominator is one of the tolerance and numerator is precision. Numerator is precision. The precision is nothing but summation of repeatability error and reproducibility error. We'll be discussing, we'll be finding out gauge R&R in a very interesting way, right? In the training program, but precision tolerance ratio will give you the measure of the measurement error. If it is less than 10%, the AAAG guideline says your measurement system is good to go. But if it is more than 10%, it requires correction, right? Histogram is a tool that will tell you whether your data is normally distributed or not. Normally, data should follow normal distribution only. If it is not following normal distribution, either your process is under the influence of a factor or your data is collected with a lot of error. Only two possibilities, right? So it's important your data follows normality, and histogram will measure the normality. And there are many other ways also we will be teaching you. Control chart is a tool which will tell you whether your process is under statistical control or not. If the process is under statistical control, it can be improved. As a students, if all of you are under my control, I can help you improve. Am I right? If you are not under my control, then I will not be able to help you improve. Very simple. Same way, if the process you are trying to improve is not under statistical control, you can't improve. Better do something else. Control chart tells you whether your process is ready for improvement or not. Clear? Right. Check sheet, we already discussed. All these tools will help you do very well in the measure phase. Again, in the measure phase, 3 steps. First step, what do you want to measure? You should know about X and Y. Second step, validate your measurement system. Third step, collect the baseline performance, measure the baseline performance. So the main deliverable is validated measurement system and the baseline performance. Why do we validate the measurement system? To get the baseline performance only. If the measurement error is too much, see, we will be generating a report like this. I will make you generate a report like this. You collect the data in a particular way, analyze it, and you understand the measurement error. Look here, measurement error is 4.27. Gauge R&R is 4.27. Is it less than 10%? Yes. So your measurement system is capable. And now there is a number of distinct category. How much it is? 32.
32.
Is it more than 5? Yes,
Yes.
it is. So it is adequate. So measurement system is adequate. Measurement system is capable. Now it is good to collect the data, right? And now if these things are not happening, your measurement error is more than 10% or NDC is less than 5, then using the same data, you can generate 6 graphs. First graph is bar chart. Second graph is control chart called R chart. Third graph is another control chart called X bar chart. Fourth one is dot plot. Fifth one is box plot. Sixth one is again dot plot. Using these 6 graphs, I will be able to pinpointedly identify what is going wrong. Who is collecting wrongly? Whether the problem is with the operational definition or problem with the particular operator who is collecting data, or problem is, because of all the components of the measurement system, I will be able to understand. Why should I understand? Then only I can correct it, isn't it? So these tools will make you powerful in your organization. Any problem you will understand at the root and then fix it. I told you operational definition is very important. You should not confuse your people. If you confuse, you can't produce result, right? And let's see one confusing case now. I received this video from in WhatsApp. I am using it here. Let me play this video and you will understand the kind of confusion going on here.
Okay, double click on
Attacked by FMEA, failure mode and effect analysis, and source of the waste will be attacked by lean. Always problem can come only from any one of the three. If you control all the three, definitely no, you will be able to address the problem. Have you identified the potential X and the critical X? What is potential? What is critical? Yesterday we discussed, maybe we'll discuss today also. Have you statistically validated? What is validation? For example, we are going to call you, all of you, a white belt tomorrow. Are we validating the certification? Yes, we are conducting an exam. Am I right? We conduct the exam and we come to a conclusion that you deserve the title, and then only certification is given. This is called validation. You found something as a root cause. You have to validate it. Then only action can be taken. You just cannot make changes in your company whenever you want, isn't it? And that's not the way you should work. You validate the root cause. When you are able to prove the root cause, now you are allowed to make the changes. That validation is a statistical procedure called hypothesis testing, which will be taught to you thoroughly inside the green belt or the black belt training program. Has the validated factors sufficient to produce the result? Whatever you learned yesterday and today, is it sufficient to give you the title white belt? Answer is yes, isn't it? Same way, when you solve a problem, how many factors you are going to fix? Is it one single factor, or is it two factor, or is it three factor? That means you need to know what is the level of influence of each factor on your Y variable. Isn't it? If one single factor is influencing heavily, what does it mean? The major factor or the root cause is only one factor. If 2-3 factors are involved, then you have to fix 2 or 3 factors to get your problem solved. This is called a sufficiency. The sufficiency of the factor can be understood only by mastering again regression. Many training program doesn't talk about this particular point. What is that? Sufficiency of a factor, right? We will take you through the regression very thoroughly. So don't worry about it. Have you identified any new risk? By solving a problem, you should not invite a new problem. That is called risk assessment, right? What is the risk before offering the solution? What is the risk after offering the solution? The risk can be low, should not be high. If the risk is high, your organization may not accept your solution, right? So risk mitigation is also important. So let us do a small analysis. Y and X, you know. And now, yesterday we discussed this. I'm discussing again. Imagine you are heading a chain of restaurants and you have about 100 plus restaurants across the country. You are heading the quality, right? And now in your head office, you are receiving lot of complaints about the quality of the coffee. Now tell me, what are the potential X factors? Come on, go ahead. What are the potential X factors now?
Potential
X factors.
Milk, sugar, coffee powder.
Milk, sugar, coffee powder, the temperature at which you serve the coffee, the
concentration of coffee.
Yeah, how do you present it? All of them, talks about the quality of the coffee, right? So these are called the potential X factor. All of you now understand what is potential X? If one of the X's goes wrong, then your Y will go wrong. Now, I will call these factors as X1, X2, X3, X4, X5. Now, when you analyze your problem, all the complaints you are reading, now 80% of the complaints are about the strongness of the coffee. 80% of the customers are complaining that strongness is not sufficient. I ordered a strong coffee, but your chef gave me a very light coffee. Now, which factor is critical now?
Coffee powder.
Coffee powder percentage.
Quantity.
Coffee powder is critical because the strongness of the coffee is impacted heavily by the amount of coffee powder. Am I right? Sugar is not responsible for the strongness of the coffee. Temperature is not responsible for the strongness of the coffee. If at all they are responsible, that is only by a small percentage. But coffee powder has the major influence on the strongness. Now, do you know the meaning of critical factor? How do you know it is critical? You already know coffee making, isn't it? Coffee making, you know, and that's why you have understood the critical factor. Similarly, if you understand what are you doing in your company, you will easily identify the critical factor. All of you are with me on this? You should know what are you doing in your company, and then only you can quickly identify the critical factor. If you yourself do not know what are you doing, see, the ladies in our house, they prepare the coffee, right? And they prepare the coffee beautifully. You, whatever you want, they will produce accordingly. You want a sweet coffee, they'll make it sweet. You want a strong coffee, they'll make it strong, because they know the process. Same way, if we know our process, we can make it. Similarly, for a sweet coffee, the critical factor is X3 sugar. Now, if we know the relationship between X and Y, problem can be solved fully. The relationship between X and Y is nothing but the regression. Whether the relationship is linear or relationship is curvilinear, whether the relationship is cubical, nothing but regression, right? So once you learn, you will be able to understand. Your industrial problem can also be solved in the same manner. What will you solve in an industry? You want to increase the compressive strength of the material you are manufacturing. It may be a rod, or it may be a beam, or it may be a concrete block. Am I right? Or you may want to reduce the wear rate of the material or wear rate of the cutting tool, or you may want to improve the thermal efficiency or efficiency of an electric motor or an engine or a boiler. And now all the X factors, these are not, X factors are called what? Potential factor. And one of the factor which is responsible for the deviation in Y is called a critical factor, right? So these are the tools you can make use: brainstorming, Y-way analysis, fishbone diagram, value stream mapping, failure mode and effect analysis, hypothesis testing. What is hypothesis testing? Checking the criticality of the factor. You told me, sir, coffee powder is critical. How did you say? You have unconsciously you have done hypothesis testing. You know, you remember, sometime you increased the coffee powder and that made your coffee more stronger. Am I right? So that is an hypothesis testing. So hypothesis testing will help you to validate the criticality. Correlation and regression will help you to understand the relationship and the sufficiency. So stepwise, I have mapped the tools, listing the probable X or potential X, brainstorming, fishbone, Y-way analysis. You can also explore value stream mapping, failure mode effect analysis, focused problem statement. And this is a fishbone diagram, and this is a Y-way analysis, and this is a value stream mapping. We'll discuss everything, in detail. And step number 8, identification and validation of critical factor. Use tools like Pareto, prioritization matrix, cause and effect matrix, hypothesis testing to validate criticality. For verifying the sufficiency, use scatter diagram, correlation, and regression. The important tool is regression. If you don't master regression, you will come close to the solution and then you will stop there, right? Most of the time, you are not able to improve the performance beyond a certain level. Up to certain level, you will solve the problem simply with your fishbone analysis itself. All the trial and error will bring you to certain level. But after certain level, you have to be systematic. At that point, you have to master correlation and regression. And what is the first one? Is the Pareto. Second one is a scatter diagram. And within the scatter diagram, do you see a red color line? That red color line is called what? Regression line. The equation of the line is written here. This equation is called regression equation. I will make you write the equation yourself. Write the equation yourself. You can use the software and you can take very good decisions. Any questions, Teja?
Sir, how are those 7 steps in the previous slide?
This step,
This yes, next one. Seven list all the possible probabilities.
for coffee example, you only helped me to list all the X, am I right? You told me sugar, you told me coffee
Yeah.
powder. That is called brainstorming,
Okay, sir.
right? But brainstorming, you have to have relevant people. For coffee, you ask your wife. Similarly, for your casting, aluminum casting, ask relevant people. All right?
Okay, sir.
So the ultimate aim of the analyze space is, I want to get the validated root cause. Clear? All of you are with me up to this?
Yes, sir.
Are you finding it difficult? Anything so far? Or easy to understand?
AC, sir.
Easy, good.
Oh, beautiful. But actually, what you learned is really tough. But if you felt it easy, that means you are definitely going good. All right. And now the last part of the training program. Now it is 8:45. Probably I will finish the program by taking extra 5 or 10 minutes. Is it okay?
No issue, sir. We can continue.
Good. So trying to understand what is exactly Six Sigma, right? And as I already mentioned, this is definitely more than the requirement of to be a white belt, but we want you to be distinctly different from